We are 19, which is sex.
You probably shouldn't wait very long.
I did feel like we were moving a little fast.
If that weren't the case, we wouldn't be able to get engaged. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Savannah.
My name's Troy.
And we just got engaged! I thought now would be a good time to kind of talk about us, let you introduce yourself, help you guys get to know us as a couple and what we're doing.
My name's Troy. I'm going into my sophomore year of college, studying exercise science, trying to play football.
We met almost 5 months ago. So we're going to talk about that because that is very unusual. This is unusual for a lot of people. First of all, we're 19 and we got engaged after 5 months of dating. A lot of people, we've already gotten a lot of comments about that. People's thoughts about that.
So we decided to make a video.
It might be a long one, so grab your coffee. We've already been sipping on ours. Grab your coffee, sit down, maybe get in the car, go for a little drive. First, let's talk about the engagement itself. We got engaged
Wednesday the 18th.
I'm gonna let him kind of take it over.
We had been talking about getting engaged like early on in our relationship. And so I kind of had a lot of time to start planning for it. I had also accepted a job up in the Raleigh area of North Carolina. And that was going to be for all of the month of July. And so in my mind, I really didn't want to get engaged and then immediately roll over into work for a whole month. I wouldn't see her, by the way. So it kind of was looking like I was going to do it at the very start of August. And the very start of August, go back to college on the 9th. Start football in my RA position. But I didn't want to do that. I just felt like that had been super rushed. But I had started planning for that date for a while, honestly. I had a few things set up for it, nothing crazy. I had texted 2 or 3 people about maybe photos, and I had figured out a location. But other than that, I had no idea. But 4 weeks ago, I was talking with my buddy about like ideas about like, let's go on a little trip. And I was like, yeah, I'd like to go on a trip with Savannah too. And my buddy has his girlfriend and everything as well. And we got to talking and we're like, we might be able to set something up. So, later that night I called Savannah and I was like, hey, there's this trip, maybe we could set it up. And as we're setting up the trip, I'm kind of thinking like, this might be an opportunity to propose. And I'm like, well, then I have to find somebody with a camera down there. And then I have to find a location down there, make reservations, which, obviously you'll have to do with any engagement. And so I was like, kind of like, okay, this is going to be a little bit too much, until I talked to my buddy about it. He's like, hey, my girlfriend, takes pictures and she has a really nice camera too. I was like, oh. We had also talked about like both of our girlfriends wanted to dress up. And so it was a perfect opportunity to like, hey, let's go take pictures. We'll put on something cute. Let's go take pictures. And once that was said, I was like, dang, this could really happen. And then they started talking, Savannah and my buddy's girlfriend. And mind you, a few months prior to that, I had already asked for her dad's permission. The guy in the ring had some really good conversations with her parents. I had to bring the ring in. I had to get it resized. And also we had to change the seating of how the diamond was set in it. It was like a 6-prong and it was super high. And so we cut it down and made it a 4-prong. We cut the size in half. It was a 8.5 and I cut it down to a 4.5. Once everything's set up, talking with Jesse about it, his girlfriend's on board with the pictures. So now I'm just searching for a location and reservations. Also, I had longer hair at the time. And we had both kind of talked about like, I need to have my hair cut. So I went and got my hair cut. Then after that, I only had a few more things to figure out. Location, reservations, and how we're going to dress.
Because I had a dress. I got this dress and we were both like, I want to wear this when we get engaged.
I love this dress.
Yeah.
It's like, just look good at it.
Insert picture. I knew I wanted to wear that whenever we got engaged. So it was kind of hard for him.
I basically just tried to convince her everything was happening in August. Like periodically I would tell her like, oh yeah, I got something else set up for this August.
And let me add in, the weekend before we left for the trip, his friend's girlfriend texted me and was like, hey, are you getting your nails done for the trip? And I was like, wasn't really planning on it. But then she kind of like convinced me to get it done. And then whenever I told Troy, he was like, yeah, you should get your nails done. I got skeptical and I made a video, insert video. Come with me to get my nails done to potentially get engaged. We were at his house the night before we left. He's scrolling on my phone, going through my pictures, and he came across the video. And so then he starts convincing me that it is not happening. And the reasoning was, 1, everything is set up for August, and 2, it would be awkward to do it with the other couple that was there because they've been together longer than us, and like that would be kind of weird. And I was like, oh wait, actually kind of makes sense. So he kind of convinced me, okay, it's not happening. And low-key, I was disappointed. By the time we were on the trip, I didn't really think it was happening. But also, I've wanted this to happen. So in my mind, it's like I just try to make it happen. But generally speaking, leading up to it, especially the days up to it, I didn't really think it was going to happen because he had convinced me of it. But then the day of, so we're going to do these pictures. We're on the way there. It's like 30 minutes away maybe, at this park reserve refuge thing in Savannah. On the way there, we look to our left and it is pouring. And we're like, uh-oh. So we get there to the stop. We're walking around, going on the trails, and it's like thundering. Like, it's not raining yet, but it is actively thundering. We're walking around. We can't find the spot.
When we came there, me and my buddy looked around to find a spot. We found this spot at the national park there. She wanted a spot with Spanish moss hanging from the trees. So did I. So we're like looking at this first spot, nowhere to be found. Mind you, we're also getting eaten alive.
Oh, mosquitoes.
By mosquitoes. We're in a swamp in Savannah with Savannah. It's just muggy and bugs.
It wasn't the funnest. Part.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I started to panic.
I'm like, let's just do it tomorrow because it's gonna rain. We're getting eaten, and I was like, let's just do the pictures tomorrow. Like, we can just go to dinner because we had reservations.
Everything was set up for it, but we went to the wrong spot. Thank goodness for my buddy though. My buddy and his girlfriend really did like they are a blessing. They were MVP. They MVP
real ones. So we get in the car to go to this new different location that his buddy found. We're going, and we just see the rain. If anything, we're going towards it more.
My buddy goes, why don't we just pray?
We should just pray about it. He starts praying, like in the car, to just like keep the rain away.
Like, Lord, hold the rain.
Keep the rain away. At that point, I kind of had a feeling because he was so nervous. Like, I could see him just panicking, and I was like, I don't think this is just pictures. Like, I don't think he'd be so panicky over just pictures because it's raining. By the time we get there, it really does look like the rain isn't gonna come. So we definitely know it's the right place as we're pulling up. We stop at one little like grassy area by a swamp, and it's like really pretty. Insert pictures.
I told them we were going to stop at one before, no matter what.
I thought you were gonna do it right there.
Yeah, I know. That was the goal, was to like take those pictures there, and then you'd be like, oh, okay, it's not happening.
Like the whole time I was like, is he just gonna do it like right off the bat? Is he gonna wait? Like, and then after you didn't, I was like, okay, wait, maybe we're not. Like, maybe it's not happening. But anyways, take those pictures. We took some of them too. Got in the car and went to find the Spanish moss, like the very specific. I think we both had the vision in mind of what we wanted the Spanish moss to look like in the pictures. We go to it and we find it. Like, we find the spot.
My buddy's holding the ring in his back pocket. We get there, park the car. I told my buddy I'll wink at him when it's the right time. We get there, we get out of the car, and immediately I see the trees, and I'm like, this is the spot.
The camera angle, because
it kept falling.
Yeah.
I winked at Jessie. I had to get Emmy's attention, who's Jessie's girlfriend, because Savannah was right beside me, and I had to get her away so Jessie could give me the ring. Jessie walked behind me, and Emmy was like, hey, Savannah, come over here so you can see the angle. Tell me if this is the right angle. And
they really did good.
She turned around with Emmy and started walking away. Jessie gives it to me, and he's just like, gives me the nod, and I was like, let's go. Slip it into my back pocket, and now it's on. Like, I'm actually starting to get like kind of shaky. Emmy and her agree on the spot, and I line it up perfect, so I'm trying to stand like directly in the middle of the path under all the moss perfectly. Like, in my mind, I tried to step just a little bit closer to her, so when I stepped back for the knee, it was like perfectly square. Like, I'm very like perfectionist OCD about certain things like that, and it would have really irritated me if I didn't have it right where I wanted it for us. I'm like sitting with my hands on my hips so I can like casually reach into my back pocket and not be super obvious about it. And because I wanted to be able to pull it out of my back pocket and tuck my back pocket back in. It pulled it out, and I knew it would because I already practiced it. So I get it out, and I'm just sitting there looking at her with it in my hand behind my back, and I'm like tucking my back pocket in, and she's just kind of looking at me, waiting for me to do something.
Yeah, because we were gonna take pictures, and I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, and so I'm like, kind of was just like trying to fix it perfectly, pulled it out, and immediately her face just, and she started growling at me.
I did make a weird noise that I didn't expect to make. It was like, Row! Insert video. It was not really what I expected to do in the moment.
I get down on the knee, obviously, and
perfect form.
Practice makes perfect.
Yeah. And then he said something. To be honest, I was listening. I
know you were.
But I couldn't remember what he said. I just know I said yes, which is all that really matters. I think he said, Savannah Jean, I love you so much.
And I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
Will you marry me? And I said, yeah.
And I just started freaking out. I was so nervous that I didn't really hear, like, I know she said it, but like, I was like, so I'm guessing that's a yes. Like,
Yeah.
cause she like freaked out. It was moving so fast and I was so nervous about it. It happened so quickly.
That's the story. And then we took some more pictures with the ring, of course.
Yeah. This is why the shout out was so big to Jesse and Emmy, because they were getting eaten alive.
The mosquitoes were so bad.
One day we might post just the normal video that Jesse took, the whole entire video. They were getting eaten up at the very end of the video of the actual proposal itself. My buddy Jesse's, you can hear go, ooh, 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 and like flip the camera down, started smacking his leg.
And Emmy was eat up.
Yeah, Emmy.
They're real ones.
They are real ones.
They got all the pictures, all the videos. Perfect.
It was awesome. And then we went to go get dinner at the old Pink House, which was so nice. It was so nice.
In downtown Savannah. Then we went home, played some Uno.
And then we went to my family that lives near Atlanta.
That's where we're driving back.
Yeah, we're driving back from right now. Got to introduce Savannah as my fiance.
So that's the engagement story. Super exciting. We're excited. We're happy.
Very happy.
So we kind of wanted to talk about like why, because everyone's like, why are you getting engaged after 5 months of dating and you're 19 and whatever? And
we've both been in relationships before. I would say they were serious relationships and they lasted a while.
Too long.
Yeah. So I think going into our relationship, we kind of had what cut out in our minds what we both wanted.
Because we both had what we didn't want.
Exactly. So going into the relationship, we both kind of knew exactly what we were looking for, what values we were looking for, and what type of people we were looking for.
Also, right off the bat, with us, we just talked about a lot of things. Before we even started dating and were official, we talked about a lot of things that you talk about in a relationship. For us, we didn't want to get into a relationship that was not compatible, because for us, we believe you date to marry. We didn't want to get into something that were like clearly uncompatible. So we talked about a lot of things right off the bat, like politics, past relationships, past struggles, all of those things before we even started dating.
Yeah.
By the time we got into a relationship, we knew we were aligned on the things we needed to be aligned on. So that wasn't an issue.
And it kind of opened the door to a lot of those hard conversations because we had already opened the door on them.
Yeah.
Now, I don't recommend this for everybody. I think this is what I needed to do to be able to feel like it was going to work and to feel like I could be loved, is get everything on the table.
Yeah.
Just put it all on the table.
And I agree. It also made me feel better because I didn't, even once we were dating, I wasn't like, ooh, is he holding something back? Exactly. I mean, obviously there were some things that we got deeper into over time, but
yeah, with me in my past, I had to get some things out on the table just to make sure that we were both clear on it. And she understood where I was and where I wanted to be with her.
And same for me. We've both been through a lot in our lives. And so we had to talk about those things. Like the second day we knew each other, we were talking about the most traumatic things in our life. That kind of set us up. It was a lot all at once, but it set us up well for where we are now.
We also, the second day knowing each other, we were at a church retreat. We split off into girls and boys. I'm sitting in the men's conference. We're talking strictly about relationships and how, as a man, how we're supposed to lead and be a protector and also lead the right way. Like, I already knew a lot of the stuff, but I think that I needed that so much more to be reiterated in my life at that time. And it encouraged me to be very straightforward with Savannah, just to make sure like that she knows that I'm there, but also to see if that's where her mind's at. When
we're talking about values and being aligned, it's not just like, oh, I'm a Christian and you're a Christian. Christians can have differences of opinions and what they believe to be true. And
and it's not that we agree on everything, by the way.
But we don't disagree largely on important things.
Very true. And I think on our core values, there's no disagreement.
Yeah.
Things start to, I want to say change, but mold into something new. We usually are right on path with each other.
There are some things that I'm a little more over here on. Generally speaking, we're on the same. Like, there's nothing that I'm way over here and he's way over here, which I think is important.
And if you're not that way, it doesn't mean things aren't going to work out. Generally speaking, it's best if there are things like that, you need to talk about it. And
especially
also,
if you want kids.
Yeah, disclaimer, we're just engaged. So I'm not trying to sound like we're giving marriage advice and anything like that, but just, I'm trying to speak from my experience and our experience.
And how we knew we were ready.
This doesn't apply to everybody.
Go find a mentor or something, respectfully.
And also that was a thing too. We both had mentors and are speaking wisdom into our lives, and my mentor knew of Savannah, her mentor knew of me. My mentors knew Savannah and worked with Savannah. So they knew her, they knew where she was spiritually, and they then we're like, yeah, man, go for it. Like, and they encouraged me. So everything was just set up really, really fast. Then I can't lie. I don't know if you felt this way. At the very start of our relationship, I did feel like we were moving a little fast. Like, I was a little nervous.
No, it was scary.
It was.
One, be vulnerable, but then also, like, I don't know if either of us had ever felt fully accepted after opening up about stuff. And so to be like, oh, they still like me?
Yeah, it was very scary to open up. And for me to open up to somebody was a big deal. And if it wasn't taken the right way, it would be very hard for me to stay with that person.
But after doing that, I think it set us up well for a deep relationship, even very soon. Another thing that was important to both of us that we talked about early on was before we even get engaged, we need to have a history and a habit of working through conflict, of having arguments or disagreements. We've never had an argument, but and we can work through it or we can see it differently. Just being able to work through conflict, and we've had plenty of those. So,
and I think that's also an important thing to kind of touch on just a little bit. Everything was not all sunshine and rainbows all the time. With being so open with each other about our past and just our beliefs, it did open a lot of doors to having hard conversations that weren't fun sometimes. And
still aren't.
They're still not fun to talk about. But I think what was important is we still had those conversations.
That was really important for us before getting engaged. Also, just like logistically, we had to think about, okay, we are 19. We wouldn't have been able to get engaged if I wasn't in the position that I am right now, being 19 and having graduated college, which is another story for another day. But if that weren't the case, we wouldn't be able to get engaged or married anytime soon. Practically, you got to make money to live. So hopefully I'll have a job soon and we can start saving and I'll be making money. I will be in a position to make money soon. So
her parents instilled in her to save, so it wasn't like we're just going into this
with $0.
Yeah, with $0. There were things in mind before graduation that also did play a little bit into the mind of like, okay, we can make this work, and more than just work. Like she said, like if she didn't graduate college, then we wouldn't be engaged right now. It wouldn't have.
You gotta have someone working. If you want to be married,
there's gotta be some financial income.
Someone has to be making money.
I do want to say that doesn't mean I'm not making money.
Yeah, one day he'll be the one making money, and I probably won't be, and that's okay. And that's something we've had to talk through. It's just like, are we okay with that? Are we okay with me working? And
as a guy, sometimes it's just looked at a little frowned upon in today's culture. But I was a little like took a hit on my pride a little bit. I can't lie to think about like I can't be the moneymaker or the breadwinner or whatever you want to say. It did I cannot lie. It did hurt me a little bit to think about me still being in school and my fiance, soon to be wife, would be working a full-time job and maybe even doing a graduates program as well. Hit me in the gut a little bit. Like, dang, I'm not fulfilling my role as a man the way I should be.
Even though he's in school.
Yeah, even though I'm in school. I think it was honestly a tactic of the enemy a little bit, speaking a lie into my ear a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean I shouldn't be out there pursuing something and leading, because I honestly, guys, if you are listening, pursue that. Try and be the leader. Do what you can, but it's okay to still pursue your career through college and have your significant other make some money.
I think you've got to be able to do that, because even right now, I'm not working right now. I'm trying, but I'm not. And he's working 2 jobs. So it's like, it's give and take. You've got to be okay with, okay, I'm doing this right now. You're going to do this later. It's back and forth, and you've got to be okay with that. Yeah. So, and we are. So that was important too. Another important factor was family, because obviously we're adults. We can get married whenever we want. But we both are family people. We wanted to have the support of our family. But my parents, quickly after meeting him, were very comfortable and felt at peace with us moving forward with things. And his family has been great too. And they're very supportive. They were young and got married quickly too. So it's been nice to have their support and know that everyone's okay with what we're doing.
Obviously, if her parents weren't okay with it, I wouldn't have pushed forward with it. Like you said, we're adults. We could, but in my heart, I had to have permission from her father, especially. But obviously, I wanted her mother's permission too. That dad permission's that's a different thing. And what really made me feel good too is her dad went straight to her mom. I asked her dad, and he said, I'm okay with y'all moving forward, but I'm going to go check with my wife about it. That was reassuring for me. And there were many conversations I'm sure her and her parents had behind closed doors without me, because I know there was with me and my parents.
It was important for us, since we both have good relationships with our parents, to have private conversations without each other there. I don't need to know what some stuff was said, and he doesn't need to know what some stuff was said to me. But now I feel like since we are engaged and working towards marriage, it's like it's us. Before we made a decision like that, we had to seek wise counsel And we believe our parents are that. So
Yeah, I will say most of the talk with my parents was financially speaking.
same here.
But also emotional maturity wise, we are 19. We are young. And I needed to have wise, spiritually grounded people speak into my life about.
And even just the reality of like, we are 19, we're going to grow and we're going to change.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with loving the changed person. You have to choose to love the person
Yeah,
no
day
matter
in, day
what
out.
season.
Which I think comes easy when you do the right things. It's not something that I'm like waking up in the morning like, oh my gosh, I gotta choose love today.
Or thinking about the future like, oh, I have to love her in 20 years.
I think I have a joy to do it. I think that comes from just growing up, seeing my parents do it that way. But I think more than that, I think it was understanding the love that my creator has for me. With him, love is easy. Like it really, not all the
very
time.
simple.
It's very yeah, that's a better word for it. It's simple. And when you rely on the creator of love to love somebody else, I do think it makes it easier.
Spiritually, probably the most important factor here.
Yeah.
Just both of us feeling the peace that you need to have before you make that decision to get engaged. And I would say we both have experience having prayed the prayer. You either know about it or you don't. If you don't, I recommend it. There's a prayer that you pray whenever you're in the season of dating and you're like talking to someone new. And it's like, okay, Lord, if this person is for me, then like keep them around. And if they're not, then take them right out.
If this is in your will, God, if this person is fit for me, then keep them in my life, Lord. But if it's not your will, then take them out.
Yeah, and make it very clear.
And make it plain, Lord.
And we both had done that with people prior.
Yeah.
And whew,
worked
so quickly.
Every single time.
Like literally the next day.
Yeah.
We knew that was a possibility. In the early stages, we didn't talk about it at the time, obviously, but we had both separately prayed that prayer of like, if this person is for me, like, okay, keep them around. But
I do remember at a certain point in time, though, I did ask you to make sure you did pray that prayer.
Which I already had.
I knew I had a feeling she had, but I wanted to verbalize that to her like, hey, I don't know if you're doing this. I hope you're doing this, but if you haven't, you say the prayer. Because I can't lie, I was getting a little nervous. I kept praying the prayer.
And there I was.
Nothing was happening. And I preface this, if you're going to pray the prayer, have open ears to listen for an answer. Don't pray the prayer.
And accept it. You got to accept it.
Yeah. I mean, I've fallen a victim to what I've literally just said before in relationships past of praying the prayer, seeing I don't need to be in this, and then still being like
staying with it because you want it. Yeah.
I can change them.
Yeah. So that was big, was both of us doing that. And after we did the whole like, not talking, but we were getting to know each other before we started dating for about a week before we started dating. And so within that week, it was really a whole lot of that prayer. And we stuck around.
Yeah, we stuck around. I prayed that prayer probably for a week and a half to 2 weeks.
Even after we started dating.
Yeah, even in dating, I was praying that prayer. Just from relationships past, I had anxiety a little bit about, am I really listening to the Lord here? Am I paying attention to what he's saying? Is he telling me no? I really tried to make sure just by re-saying that prayer, like, Lord, is this the person? Speak to me. Help me to have open ears about this. I know the Lord just like kept opening the door to grow closer to her. That first month and a half to 2 months of knowing each other, even into dating, it was just constant conversations that were growing us closer together, like you should be having in a relationship.
We'll just speak for myself. But that was what was kind of different for me, was like having such good, deep conversations that actually help you get to know each other and like see each other's minds work. And even now, we just sit in the car and we talk about stuff. So I think that's been really important too.
We've had conversations in the past of, we can kind of move into maybe the last segment of it, but like the sexual side of things in a relationship, that I think that played into what she was just talking about with like having those deep conversations. If you're doing things in a relationship, mostly if you're doing it super early on, I don't want to speak for everybody, but I do think, and I feel that generally speaking, you're not having some of those conversations because that time's being taken out doing other things, or maybe that emotional connection that needs to be had is taken out in a different way.
You're
with them
connecting emotionally through physical connection
and sexual,
instead of like having conversation.
Yeah.
That does connect you emotionally, and you also get to learn about the person.
Yeah.
So that was important for us, and something that kind of happened naturally because we had set the standard of, we're not doing this. When you can't do this, you do a lot of this.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I recommend that.
There's like a different level of comfort because no matter what happens, I know that I'm with this person now, and that something could happen traumatically in my life and this person would still be here. And plus I know where they are in their mind, where they are in their thoughts and the process of our relationship, because we've just talked so much. I want to say this preface. We live in a sinful world. Even as Christians, we sin and we fail a lot too.
Yeah.
We failed sometimes, but I think what's important is we know that we need to go back to Christ about these things. And when we do fail, we need to go before the throne, lay it down before God. And also we knew that one thing was for sure, is that even if we were going to fail, we weren't going to fail for this one thing, which is sex. We weren't going to do that. That was for sure, without a doubt. It's not going to go that far ever. That's been so beneficial for us both, just because it's allowed us to have connections that I don't think are possible while doing sex. You're letting all that emotion out and that connection out in a way that's not right spiritually.
Not meant for the stage you're in.
Yeah, exactly. It's not meant for things outside of marriage. Last thing, I don't want to sound like a jerk if those things are going on inside of a relationship,
because that's a real struggle.
It's a real struggle. If you're going through that season or you're living that out in life right now, it's okay to come before the Lord. In reality, there's nothing we can do as believers to save ourselves. The only thing that does save us is Jesus Christ. When we accept that, we can be freed from the chains that have been holding us down. So give that to the Lord. Pray about it. Ask God to help you get out of that situation. Talk about that with your significant other.
Get a mentor.
Don't feel like you're cast it out or you're too far out, or if you're having sex in a relationship that,
we've already done it.
We've already done it, or like it's too far gone or whatever. You're not. It's okay.
And recognize that it's a process. Sanctification in general is a process. And so you have to not be okay with failing, but you have to say, okay, I'm not going to beat myself down because we messed up here this one time. You have to say, okay, we messed up, always recognize it, and then go back to the Lord, and you got to repent and get rid of it, and then you got to get over it. We'll stop preaching now. This is where we're going to end on a podcast, whether we listen to it together or not, I don't remember, but
let's do that together.
Yeah. It was talking about how God didn't design our bodies and us as humans to date for a super long time because of the temptation of sexual sin. We were designed to have companionship, but we weren't designed to have a fractured companionship. And so until you're in a marriage, I would say that it is a little bit fractured because you're not connected on that level. And so to date for a super extended period of time is really hard. Can it be done well? Yes, we've seen people do it well. We also know our struggles, and we know how God designed us. Anatomically speaking, you're not designed to have this connection with this person and wait for 5 years.
I just think over time, spending more and more time with somebody and growing closer to that person, you are naturally going to feel more want and temptation to do things that you shouldn't be doing.
Which is natural.
If it's not combated in the right way, spiritually speaking, and talked about, then I think it can set you up for failure.
And what we've always said to each other, and this is just for us, but when you know, and once you know, you probably shouldn't wait very long, because
this is the chart. So we have temptation here on the y-axis, time here on the x-axis. As time goes, temptation rises. And there's a line on this chart where you get engaged, or you hit that 3-month mark, or you hit a big milestone inside the relationship. And I feel every time you hit those big milestones, that temptation goes up and it increases per time. So the longer you're together, the more temptation you will have, I feel. At least in our experience.
For us. Yeah.
But for us, that has been true. And even now to this day, that's something that we still work on and we still work through.
Yeah. And so for us, sorry, I didn't know where I was going with that. So for us, we don't want to drag out the time and let temptation grow. Not that you should get married to have sex. Paul does say that. But it is a factor that you have to consider, and you have to kind of weigh it. Are we ready to sacrifice our purity in our relationship just so that we can wait till we have enough money to get ready, or until we're 22, or whatever your standard is? For us, that's not worth it. We would rather have a holy relationship rather than worry about our age or how much money we're going to have or whatever. He has 3 years left of school. We feel at peace with each other, peace with the Lord. This isn't something that we've just we're going to get married and we.
There's been a lot of thought. We have prayed about it. We've thought about it. We've talked through. We've got spreadsheets. Yeah, we've got spreadsheets, but we also have coded this in prayer. And I know our parents have as well. And at the end of the day, it's the choice of, am I going to love this person day in and day out and choose love and keep choosing love? Since we have done that, and that's also been coded in prayer, that we would keep choosing that and the Lord would help us keep choosing that the Lord's blessed that. And if we keep trying to, and He will. I think if you're trying to pursue purity, you have a community supporting behind you. There's been more than just emotional love that's pushing you towards marriage. And you've also thought about finances. Now, once those kind of 4 topics have been hit, I think you should start considering, maybe I should propose, or maybe I should.
Or start talking about it.
Yeah, start talking about it at least. I don't think you should wait for forever. I think it's important to move at our right pace to where
So don't be crazy.
People think
we're crazy.
Yeah, people think we're crazy, but I understand. I completely understand nowadays culture. But at the end of the day, we feel that we have found what's important to each of us, connected on what's important to each of us, but also made sure that we are spiritually where we need to be. We want to continue to pursue Christ and let him lead our relationship. And we feel that we are honoring that by getting engaged and moving the way we are moving now.
Last thing, everyone's different. For some people, it takes 4 months to get engaged. For some people, it takes 4 years. And we're not here to cast judgment. And we hope that you wouldn't do that to us. We get it.
That's why we made the video.
That's why we're kind of talking about it. It's strange. It's not for everyone. And we're very blessed to be in this position. We're blessed to be able to do this and to have support and to know so soon. Like, that's a blessing. And we're excited that we get to start now from 19 to 90.
Like, literally, I want to experience life with her. I want to go through the thick and the thin.
Not just because we're young and cute right now, but
I want to be able to experience the ups and the downs. If we can get through these young years, it's going to be a lot easier as we go on. Young and broke and
builds character.
Looking for jobs.
I hope that maybe cleared up some stuff. And if not, that's okay. And you don't have to agree. Maybe this was encouraging to someone out there who is dating and wants to get engaged and is 19 or is 25, whatever. I hope this was encouraging. Maybe gave you a little bit of a different perspective. Hearing something different, that's always good. We hope that you enjoyed this. I hope you feel like you know us a little better now that we're engaged.
Thank y'all for anybody that has been watching and will be watching.
Yes, we have so many new friends, so I'm sure we'll be back. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys next time. Bye!